When I have to try to search for your channel, I always think it's simple wargaming. So I always search simple wargaming.
Called that.
It doesn't come up. It's like, what's? Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not big enough to get in trouble yet for using the word Warhammer in my title, so fine. I'm under the radar.
I've got Necrons in mine, and I'm all right. So
yeah.
In today's Warhammer 40k podcast, I'm here with Andy from Simple, Not Simple. I knew I was going to do that.
It's because you set it up. Too much pressure on yourself.
I'm here with Andy from Simply Warhammer, and it's coming right up.
Necrons!
I nearly said it wrong again.
Yeah.
Nick speaking, and welcome to this podcast. Right, here we are once again, episode 10 of my podcast series, and I'm here with Andy from Simply Warhammer. Hello, Andy. How are you?
How you doing? You all right? Thank you. I
I'm
feel
doing
honoured
very
to be
well
on the channel.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. Obviously, we've been chatting quite a lot on Messenger and stuff, but we've never met in person. So, yeah, it's great to be talking to you almost live.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I said it's an honour for me because you're the first ever Wargame channel that I followed. So this is a big moment.
Excellent. Well, of course, you have a channel yourself, and it's doing pretty well. I may say so myself. We're going to talk about your channel a little bit later. We're going to start off, though, by talking about your hobby and finding out a little bit more about you. There is a link, of course, to Andy's channel in the description below, so make sure you head on over and give him a sub because it does some really, really cool videos. More on that in a bit. First, Andy, we're going to put you in the hot seat and talk about your hobby.
My obsession, we'll call it.
Yes. Okay, here we go. So, how did you get into this awesome hobby of ours?
Yes. Well, I guess like a lot of people, I played Hero Quest and Space Crusade as a kid. And then it was Christmas 2019. I found my old Space Crusade from Mum's house. So I brought it home and I introduced my son to it, and we had a game, and we loved it. So we started playing that, and then so when it got into January 2020, we're like, oh, you get these little dreadnought in the Space Crusade game, and I said, should we get a new dreadnought to go with it? And we were trying to think of where sells dreadnoughts, and I said, isn't that a shop on the High Street, Games Workshop? And that was it. I've never really been in a Games Workshop before. So in January 2020, we went into a Games Workshop. We came out with a Redemptor dreadnought, which is about 10 times the size of Space Crusade, and I got a box of Necron Immortals, just because I like the Terminator theme and painting, and that was it really. So I never looked back. We had one introduction game.
I do actually own a second-hand set of a Crusade. However, the Dreadnought's missing from the box, which I was gutted about because it's one of the coolest models from that set.
Yeah, it's like Ed 209 from RoboCop, isn't it? But
yeah.
That was the thing. But yeah, I mean, then I got one game of how to play at the local Games Workshop store. The owner, Dan, was really nice. He showed me and my son how to play. And then lockdown hit. So it was just my lockdown hobby was painting and collecting. So I was just getting obsessed buying models and collecting and just getting all the new shiny factions and just getting into it really.
Yeah. So have you played, how many editions have you played of 40k then?
It was 8th. It was towards the end of 8th.
Right. Okay.
But because of lockdown I never really got to play another human till like a year later.
Yeah. I remember recording my videos at home, just me playing myself during lockdown with my different armies. It was quite good fun, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's how I learned. You always win.
Yeah, exactly. You can't lose, can you? And this is a
I
draw.
never understood how to play secondary missions. You know, the when you had to pick 3, and that was always too complicated. So we sort of made our own missions up at home and stuff.
Right, yeah. That's always a good way, anyway, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, so what armies do you own at the moment?
It's probably easy to say what I don't own. I think I've got everything except Votan.
Everyone says that. Everyone says that.
But I've just not got into Votan yet, but I've got everything else. But some collections are bigger than others, so it's just a bit obsessed. Because I tend to play often in tournaments because I don't really have a very good local scene for gaming. So the only time I get to play like intensive is going to a tournament. So I try to do 1 or 2 a month, which is pretty good. But I take a different army each time, so I sort of mix it up.
Okay, yeah. And you've got some quite big models, haven't you? I've seen on your channel.
Yes, yeah. Basically, I'm obsessed with big models. Yeah, so I've got big Titan Legion. So I've got a Warlord, Warbringer, 2 Reavers, 4 Warhound Titans. So I like playing Apocalypse. Just
right.
Yeah. One of mine. A couple of them are 3D printed, but they look pretty good.
How about your Necrons? How big is your Necron force, or did you not go down that route?
Yeah. I collected quite a good size.
Of course you did, didn't you? It's Necrons.
Exactly.
Necrons.
The way of starting collecting was basically just get one of everything. So what I don't like about tournaments is when people spam models. It's like you have one Exorcist tank and it looks beautiful for sisters, but then everyone brings 3 now, so it's it just feels it's sort of a bit sad that you have to sort of buy millions of everything. So I've kind of got one of everything, and then just sort of got into it. So I think I've got like 40 Necron flayed ones, and you can't even bring that many now.
No, I've got 60.
But they're cool. I mean, they're a horrible kit to put together, but they are.
You've got the new ones, have you?
Yeah.
All 40, the new ones, yeah.
Well, it's all since 2020, so it's all pretty new, really. I never had to worry about fine cast or.
No. So mine are all metal.
Metal. I can't imagine that.
But yeah, I sort of collected most of them after they came out, really. eBay buys and stuff. If you buy them with all the claws broken, then you can get them really cheap, and then just fix them up. Make your own claws. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never built a metal model. I've not experienced the joys of
I love
metal.
Them. I do really like the metal models. The only disadvantage is when you want to pick them up off the table or put them down on the table, because you can't just gently do that with them.
Yeah.
Because they chip, so you have to do one at a time. So that's the most annoying thing.
Yeah, it's quite cool when you see people's collections though, and they've got originals and stuff. Whereas I like Tyranids and the Hormagaunts. I just basically scoot them up and drop them in a box. They're literally commodities.
When I played Planet 40k recently, he borrowed my Deceiver, the Catan Charge Deceiver.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, mine's an old metal one. And they picked it up and oh wow, it's like, oh, this is hot. He was loving it. The fact it really feels solid when they're metal, which is nice.
Statue.
Yeah. So how often do you actually get to hobby and play?
Well, I tend to hobby in preparation for events, which is not always tournaments. I like playing sort of interesting things, narrative or fun ones, or ones that you can bring legends to and stuff. And then I try and get at least a tournament a month, so a 2-day event. But if I can get more in, then I will.
Okay.
So I'm at Hellstorm GT on Saturday. It's only 2 days. That's a 2-day event, and then a few other things in December and January booked and going forwards. So that's
travel
it. Really.
Far? Was it quite local?
I'll travel anywhere really. So that one's in Mansfield. So for me, it's across the country, a couple of hours. But yeah, I mean, I played against Winters SEO, which is a bit of a highlight for me. But that was down in Swindon, so I've driven down there to play.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Sort of based in Cheshire. But yeah, I think this is not that good a hobby scene. I'd like to be able to find people that I could just play with and just do silly things, and but I tend to build silly lists and play them in tournaments. So take 2 town hours or something like that in a tower list or something. Just
what's your best result at the tournaments?
So I won a 3-day recently, but with Thousand Sons. It was, I think there was the time they were the best faction. They were winning, so I thought, I wonder if they'd be good. So I took them and won. So it's like, okay, yeah, they are pretty good.
That must have been the time that Richard was playing Thousand Sons.
Yeah, they are evil though. Yeah, I felt bad, so I put them away again.
Just trying to think. It's Magnus. He was terrible. If he didn't go first, he put up his 4+ invulnerable save and feel no pains, and God knows what else he had on him.
It was scary because I only a couple of weeks before I played Demons against, and I played against Thousand Sons, and they just minced. Like without out of nowhere, just like the Great Unclean one with his Feel No Pain, you just like disappeared, melted away. I was like, oh, yeah. So I played them, but then they've been nerfed. So and then I'm playing Orcs on Saturday. So
Right.
they're a fun faction to build.
So you literally do have pretty much every army.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So Sisters before that, and then Demons, and then in January I'm doing Admech, and then Orcs again, and then I'm not sure. Then I'll just make a decision depending on what's happening.
Right. So I'm assuming with all these armies you have, you do a lot of painting.
Yeah, I've been lucky to find some people that do commission painting as well. So I've actually
Okay.
I've been so hard and fast and obsessed in the hobby that I just want to get the models. So sometimes I'll get a few people that are doing painting for me. But yeah, all my Orcs at the moment I'm painting. But yeah, just with time, with a job and family and stuff, it's like, yeah,
it's hard.
Sometimes I just like having the shiny models.
Yeah, I do enjoy painting Orcs. I've painted a few Orcs over the years. They are great fun, but I don't know that I would necessarily want to paint like 100 boys. But painting like 5 boys is quite good fun.
Yeah, well, I did do the Green Tide. I had to take 100 models with the Green Tide to an event, and then they nerfed the detachment after that. So again, it's
yeah.
It was hard work to play. There's just too many models. It's almost impossible to get through a whole game because it's like each melee phase took like 10 minutes just to like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. My recent game against Richard, it took us 4 hours to play 2 turns. I was filming as well at the same time. But even so, it's quite a long time. It's
quite scary. But Orcs are good because they're very forgiving with the paint schemes. Something like Sisters, it has to be a bit neater. But I'm relatively steady hand. I'm not a particularly good painter, but I can make lines neat, and that does the job, doesn't it?
Good. Airbrush? Do you airbrush?
A little bit, yeah, just for like
you've got
big areas. Yeah, I've got a bit of everything really. That's what I mean. I told you I'm obsessed. But I think I don't use the airbrush that much, just for like some big things, big panels and stuff like that. Not very good with like the blending and stuff like that to make it look pretty, but
I think that's the thing with airbrush. It looks so easy, but it's actually not. It isn't a skill, using an airbrush well. I mean, I've never used an airbrush. I've obviously watched painting tutorials and it's like, and it looks amazing. But I know from experience of life that it's not that easy at all.
Well, I don't know. It's mine. I mean, it's not a rubbish one, but it's like I use it for like a minute, and literally I then have to completely clean it out because take it apart because it'll just dry up.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm doing with it, but literally it makes painting so much longer because I'm always cleaning it.
I think that's the thing as well with me. Why I like my brushes is because I'm not actually that great at cleaning afterwards. I mean, I give it a bit of a wash and that. But yeah, it's like done, rinse in the water, a bit of soap, and it's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't.
If you don't spend much on your brushes, it's easier as well. So you just don't care.
Yeah.
If you buy really pristine, amazing ones, then
I do like the Winsor and Newton Series 7 brushes.
Yeah.
I do use those, and
somebody's doing well.
Well, even though I am heavy-handed with them, they still last much longer than the Games Workshop one.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
But what I tend to do is I buy a set, and then when one of them starts to go, I'll go to Games Workshop. I just buy one of theirs, and I'll use that until they've all gone, and then I'll just buy a set of 4 brushes. Yeah.
I tend to put mine on birthday and Christmas lists.
Yeah, they're not actually that bad. I buy them from Ken Bromley on the internet, and they usually do like a brush pack. They get like 4 or 5 brushes, like £50-60. But if they last you like 2-3 years, then sometimes worth it.
Yeah, I've still got brushes now that I used in 2020. So they sort of change. They just become like, I don't know, the dirty down rust brushes, because the ones that stuff absolutely ruins your brush. So
yeah. I've got a pile of brushes. Literally, I've got my good brushes, my not quite so good brushes, my just like PVA glue brushes, and then I've got brushes which I just use as mixing brushes and stuff. So I only ever throw them in the bin when there's literally no hair left on the brush. So they go in the bin.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But like, yeah, that's why I like orcs, because they're just really easy to make do. I have spent a lot of time over Harlequins, doing the diamonds and stuff like that. And that was a labour of love. It was at the end of 9th. I decided it's like new edition, new army. So I decided for 10th, my army would be Harlequins. So I bought a load of kits, and obviously 10th came, and Harlequins wasn't an army anymore. So that was a bit sad. But
yeah. So obviously, you played a lot of games. Sounds like you've used a lot of fun lists. So I'm sure you must have some fun stories. So can you enlighten us into one of your favourite wargaming stories?
Well, I think some of the key things I remember is the first time I was recognised at a game. I felt like I could retire then, because I've got a channel. It's like he watched my videos, like amazed that somebody's seen it. And then playing against Winters SEO. So I don't know if you've watched his battle reports and stuff. But
I do watch them. Yeah.
I lived on those when I first joined the hobby. That's how I learned how to play the game, really, just watching how to roll the dice. So I got to play down there against him. I think the main things like I like big games like Apocalypse and stuff like that. And I was quite lucky. There's a group of people over in Belper in Derbyshire. There's a guy, March of War. I think he does a load of terrain and features on Winter's channel as well. But they've got when you have amazing terrain and you have like 100,000 points on the table, and everyone's playing, and literally it takes 2 days to go through a couple of turns.
I think you've got to have no life commitments. Play those big games, haven't you?
Yeah, it's just silly because it's like things just die and delete. Like whole squads and like 10 tanks you just have to take off the table. But that's the same each way. You can't be precious about any model or any particular stuff. Things die and things come back. And you have reinforcements and stuff like that. That's probably my favourite thing.
Okay, I've actually played Winters. Yeah, I played him in 7th edition. It was.
I think I've watched that back. I think his 7th edition stuff's not online anymore. He's moved it to his members channel, I think.
Has he? Okay, yeah. Well, there you go. Actually, I think my battle report is there because I remember sharing it with someone else not that long ago. So I think it's on his channel still. I'll have to hook it out. I'll tell you what I'll do, guys. If I can find it, I'll link it in the description for you to check it out.
Yeah, and so for me, 7th edition was really confusing because I joined in 8th. I had no aspect. But now I sort of understand it because I like playing Heresy as well. So that's very similar.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so I've got a load of Heresy armies as well now as well.
Well, this does bring me on to the last question in the segment, and I think I know the answer because you've got every army there is apart from one. So, are you going to start a new army?
I am, but it's going to be Emperor's Children because that's going to come out in 25. So that'll be my next new.
So I am actually jumping on that bandwagon as well. Going to resurrect my Emperor's Children.
Nice.
Which I'm looking forward to. Yeah. I'm sure all of my models will be defunct when it finally comes.
I don't have any understanding. I think I heard some rumor that they're going to have a Demon Primarch of Fulgrim, even though they've got a Demon one, but that's for Heresy. So I've got that model, but I think they're going to do a plastic one because allegedly somebody told me they've seen it. So I think it must be coming, but in 2025, whether it's Cacophony and I just like the lore of the Emperor's Children, so I think it'd be quite cool.
Yeah, I hope they go back to like more towards the lore for the army, because obviously in the index, I know the index is just a quick fix just to get them out of the old codex.
Yeah, it's a bit rubbish.
But in the index, you can only take units of 5 or 10. It's like we'll talk about Slanesh. There should be units of 6.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, units of 6. That's how
they did that with Death Guard, didn't they? They let you take 7.
Yeah. So I've got 6 units of 6 Noise Marines. That's what I've got for my force at the moment. I've got 1 Demon Prince, and I've got no HQs or anything. It's not in a playable state. But yeah, I'm going to jump onto that when it eventually happens.
That's cool. Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun.
Thing is, the Noise Marines, there's only one model, isn't there, that you can buy now?
Yeah,
I like the Heresy Noise Marines. The Cacophony thing, they're pretty good sculpts. Yeah. So I don't know if they'll bring a plastic version.
Yeah, I've got third-party bits on mine. So I've got a load of Spellcrow stuff because they do some really cool. They call them pleasure marines,
Nice,
but they've got some really cool like sonic weapons and things. And they do lots of little like upgrades and upgrade kits and things. So I've got all of those, and then I got some original chaos stuff, and then there's like the Spellcrow stuff, and I like mixed and matched, and I've got some
That's
old
pretty cool, yeah.
like chaosy demon type tentacles and things, and put them on. So yeah, I had a lot of fun making that army. It's I call it my showcase army. So it's the one that I've like literally put all of my, every single effort into making it as good as I can. So
yeah, that's it. Yeah, you end up not having enough time to do as much like kit bashing and crafting and stuff like that, and sometimes like smash it out. But I like that idea. Because I hope they come up with some good, like you say, some good lore-based things. I don't think Slaanesh really ever gets much feature. It does in like AOS or something, but not in 40k. It seems to be the forgotten.
Well, time
beast.
will tell.
Will
tell.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. It's great finding out more about you. I'm going to move on to your channel now. Just a reminder, it is linked in the description below, so make sure you check it out. Of course, I've been a long-time follower.
Thank you.
I see you've cracked the 10,000 subscriber barrier, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
I think that's great work. Yeah.
Yeah, 10,500 now. Yeah, I did a giveaway. I like to do sort of giveaways.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to say thank you, really, because it's amazing. So I think the start is the cringy thing of looking back at your old videos, where I'm just sort of talking to camera and stuff, and how rubbish it all is. But I sort of found a little niche now, which is like under 5-minute videos where I'm just sort of condensing down information, because I think people's viewing spans are totally changed now because of TikTok and Instagram Reels and shorts. It's like people don't really watch long form media that much now. So, if it's even 5 minutes, people don't watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
So if I was writing 20-minute videos, they won't bother.
Well, I'm really interested to have a chat with you about your channel, because clearly you know what you're doing with it. But before we do talk about that, I would like to know what inspired you to actually start your YouTube channel.
I think it's just because I've been like so obsessed with the hobby. So I was collecting, playing at home during lockdown, and I was just watching so many YouTube, yourselves, your own great channel, of course. But I was just watching loads of creators, and I just thought that'd be quite fun to do. So it's just thought, well, I'm putting so much effort into it, I might as well do something else that's fun. And I didn't quite understand how much effort it'd be, but then I guess I got obsessed about that as well, and just thought trying to put out as many videos as possible. But yeah, it's just I like the challenge of learning video, audio, like watching how other people do things. I'm not a particularly good video editor stuff, but it's amazing what people do. But
yeah, it's like an expansion of the hobby, isn't it? When you first start.
Yes.
And then you realise it's actually it's a totally different hobby at the same time. But they work together so well, don't they?
Yeah, they can do, yeah. And I think that's why I keep it going, is that it costs me a lot of money as well, because like I'll review AdMech Codex, and then suddenly I'll go, I want to make a list for a tournament, so I'll go and buy more models just to like, and then the next thing will come out. But also it means that I have to learn stuff to then make a video about it, because I script stuff. I try and like record it so I'm not making mistakes, and because I keep it short. So not a lot of what I'm doing is just sort of made up off the cuff. So it's well organized, at least the way I think about it. So I have to get it right, because the other thing is that Warhammer viewers are very knowledgeable, and they'll point out when you've made a mistake, straight away. So you have to do it, and that means that I know a bit more. So when I'm going to an event, it's rare that I just don't know what the other person's army is going to do. Whether it helps me, I don't know, but at least I know what's going to go.
It probably helps having all of the armies as yourself as well.
Yeah, even if I don't play them very often, but because that's my favourite bit about the hobby, is making a list. I spend hours just making lists, just for like silly ideas. I'll go, let's think about a Drukari list and think about if I can use it and stuff like that. So my event, one of my events is called King of the North in January, It's organised by a guy called Brapscallion, who's affiliated with Winter's channel. So it's just a 1 day, 1,250 points, but it says Legends units are welcome and encouraged. So basically, I'm using Orcs, which is only Legends Orcs. Just
okay,
because cool. I don't expect any anticipation to win or anything, but it'd just be fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Never get to use models like that now, so
yeah. So, well, we've talked about this. Like, how is your channel doing at the moment? And it's doing very well, isn't it? Actually, I was checking out your video that you made on should I start a 40k channel, YouTube channel?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you did a great job at that.
Thank you.
And you can see, obviously, that you do record to edit effectively, which is, I think, the best way to go. It's the easiest way to go. I mean, I've actually gone a bit of a full circle on my channel.
Yeah.
Like I used to when I first started, you just turn the camera on and you just talk, and it just rolls off, and you get lots of ums and ahs and all that stuff. And then I gradually changed to making notes and then recording the clips, and then you can put all the clips together, and then if you make a mistake on one particular section, you can just start it again until you get it right, and it just speeds things up. My first videos that I was making, sometimes it took me 16 hours to record and edit the video, because I was just recording constantly, and I had to go in and take bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But if you record to edit, it's just so much easier, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be. It's still a lot of time. I think for someone like yourself, I guess, because you're so, I don't want to call you out, but you've been in the hobby a long time.
I'm old.
Yeah. So what I mean is you've just got a very comfortable presentation style. It's not, you don't feel like you're forcing presenting. You're just chatting about the hobby. So like yourself, there's a few other people as well who are just very comfortable talking. Whereas I guess mine's more about trying to impart some information. So and people just switch off. You see it, and if I'm trying to give my opinion, or you get people giving you grief. So Auspex Tactics, you don't go to his channel for his charisma. You go because if you want some information, he's got it a minute after it was released.
Yeah.
Whereas other channels, you go because you like the presenters and stuff like that. So I think different channels can do different things. I think for me, a 5-minute video can take many hours because it's writing script.
Your editing, I know you said you're not a great editor, but your editing is really good. It is very good.
It's coming along.
Yeah.
It's a learning process, but it takes. Yeah, sometimes I'm up to 4 a.m. just editing one video, and it's taking me 6 hours. Because it's all because I also do presentation style, so it's putting in some information, and I guess it's the Mr. Beast style. You have to keep something changing on the screen all the time, otherwise you lose your audience.
Yeah, every 30 seconds and all the rest of it. Because I went through a stage of doing it like that, but I've sort of come away from it, mainly because it can get a bit, not boring, but it can get continuously hard work to do that. So I have sort of come away from it a bit more and gone a bit more relaxed and chilled in the videos. And some of them I will still script, but most of them I'll just make little bullet points and just record from there. And it does make life a lot easier. Plus, obviously, with all the experience that I've got of editing, I am a lot quicker at editing, but it can still take me between 4 and 6 hours to edit, say, a 10-minute video, roughly. The actual recording the video is fine. 10-minute video I usually record for about an hour, but it's all the editing that takes the time.
Yeah, I think you don't really realise that. Yeah, so it's, as a hobby in itself, it takes all your time up, and then, but I like to also play and paint and build models, and then I've got a 3D printer, and so if you're trying to do that, that's a hobby in itself as well. So it's there's so many factors to it, but I mean I like it because I think I've got a good cadence with my channel in that, because it's 5 minutes. I think there's not a lot of channels that do really condensed information without repeating yourself, whereas you go to something like Kirioth or something like that, if he can say something in 7 minutes that takes one, he will. But then he's got a personality, so people like him, and so it's got a good channel. But I just don't like that. I like things being snappy and so I make what I think I'd watch.
Yeah, and that is the thing, isn't it? Really, just doing you, I think if that's the most important thing. If you do what you enjoy, it comes across and people will, resonate with that as well. Whereas if you're like forcing it, then, I've never made a video thinking I'm going to make a video that's going to be this amount of time. Regardless of what the algorithm says. If the algorithm says you've got to make it just over 10 minutes, I'd never strive to do that. Yeah. The video just takes as long as it takes for me to get the information out.
Yeah.
I have noticed, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but it's probably because obviously shorts and stuff are doing very well, that long form format videos, the trend now is actually to make longer videos. And there's a reason for that is there's been an algorithm change now. So if someone's watching a video which is over, I think it's 20 minutes, over 25 minutes, if they're watching that video and they watch some of it, let's say 10 minutes of it, in the old days, if they clicked off, that would be it.
Yeah,
they'd never see that. But now what they're doing is if someone's watched some of a video, which is a longer video, is they'll keep recommending it. Oh, did you know you haven't finished watching this one? Did you?
You do see that.
For the idea for them to go back to it, and that was never a thing before. So a lot of content creators now are making longer videos.
That makes sense.
For that
I don't
reason.
think I can make a 20-minute video now. I don't think I'm able to process that. I'd speak for that long. I feel like a fraud, like I'm just spilling it out, but I don't know, other people just make it so easy and make it interesting. But yeah.
Like I said, it's just finding your style, isn't it, as well? Yeah.
Yeah, because I've made a couple of shorts, but they're just like silly things, like when I've forced the family to do some videoing and we've done a silly dance or something, and that sort of thing. But it's never a part of the channel. But like YouTube Home. The first thing is always shorts, isn't it? You have to scroll past it. Yeah. You see 2 videos and then it's shorts again. So it's the way.
Shorts are good. They've done well for my channel. So I definitely would recommend them. And of course, shorts have been extended now to 3 minutes. So they might actually suit you quite well as well.
Oh yeah, it would. I didn't even know that actually. I thought it was still like the minute thing.
Yeah,
my best video ever is still a short.
So is mine. My best video is still a shorts. Yeah.
It's still the best performing video. I get thousands of views, every month. I'm just having a look now. What I've got, it's like 300,000 views.
Yeah.
And it was just panel liner for. I used it on a towel. I got it for Christmas. A Christmas present. This panel liner. So I made a video about it, a short, and it's my best performing videos, man. Yeah, other than that, my best performing video was I got some insider information about the new Guard Codex in 9th. So somebody who'd seen the Codex was being a bit too liberal with information, so I then made a video and leaked it, essentially. But I was the first one to do it. So then Allspecs did a video about my video, and a few other channels did as well, and that was like my best.
I remember that. Yeah.
Although Allspecs got more views than I did, even though it was like
it's all good fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you tried to please the algorithm, but ultimately you've got to please yourself, because it's just, I don't think it works unless you're doing it for the love of what you're doing, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's so difficult to be a job.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of money. I think, are we allowed to talk about money? I don't know. I get about £100 a month. From adverts and stuff. So that's good. But,
decent. Yeah.
I mean, people make a living out of it.
Well, this is it. But if you do want to make a living out of YouTube, probably don't pick Warhammer 40k. Pick something which is open to a wider audience.
Or do something different. I don't know. Yeah. Because Warhammer did well, didn't he? Because he came out with his different shorts with just his face over it and did lore videos. But he sort of captured a momentum that he made for himself and did really well. But it's quite hard to be new, to be unique. Most people go down live streaming and milking the audience they've got, don't they? So they have to. That's the way really to make a living out of it. Is you just get.
Yeah, because you got like super chats and stuff.
Yeah.
So
if you get a nice engaged audience that are willing to keep giving you money each week because you're doing live streams, then that's one way. But
I did obviously a monthly live stream,
You did some painting ones as well while you were painting?
I tried some painting ones as well, yeah. But I don't think I've got the personality for people to like start doing super chats like constantly.
Just throwing money at you.
Yeah. Like
I don't know how
you
he gets
watch,
that point, but
Valrec and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'm on there and it's like ping, 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 and he's getting all these new members and money coming in. It's like, yeah, you know, I think you've got to have the personality to do that. I think.
Well, Valrec made a good move because I noticed that he'd suddenly jumped up in number of viewers, and because he started making about Space Marine 2 video content, so then he tapped into the video game market, and suddenly his subscriber base jumped up actually because of that. So he's quite shrewd because obviously he makes a living out of it. But
yeah, this is it. The thing is, when you do something like that and you get a base of like subscribers which have subscribed for one thing, are they going to watch your other stuff? You know, I mean, they're probably interested in video games. Unless he's making a lot of video game like content, will they actually be like watching? So the subscriber count number is
it's a vanity number, really. Isn't
yeah,
it?
that's exactly. Yeah, it's a vanity number. Yeah.
So it's viewership is how many views you get, and that's the leader. But if you take any time off, because at the moment it's just busy at work, so I'm struggling to get enough time. But you find that YouTube is a fickle beast.
Yeah, that's exactly how I describe it. It's fickle.
I think so. I can't remember who's described it. It's like each video is like the waves on a beach, and the more waves there are, the higher the water goes up the beach. But as soon as the tide goes out, it's like, because you're not making videos, it's the sand is dry.
Although if I've got a piece of advice for you for coming back after a little break. Because I think in your head you think, oh well, I've been out, I haven't posted anything for ages, I'll just make like a little quick video, you know. But actually what you need to do is you need to make like a hero video, you know, like a really good video when you come back. Because YouTube do actually share your content quite heavily after a little break, because it's like, oh right, you know, he's back, let's try and get his video out there. But unless you have something which is like good effectively, then it will die the next time you upload a video. But if you can come out the gates with like a really good video, then it will encourage the algorithm to like share you the next time you upload.
That's cool.
I
do have a script ready actually, but not got around to filming it. It's going to be a good one.
That's good.
Spoilers.
Okay, so let's have a look what else we've got. Some of these we've answered just in our general chit chat. But what is your goal for the channel? Your ultimate goal?
I don't really have one. I think every subscriber point, I'm always thinking it would be nice to get to 500 more. So I don't really have a goal really. I think it just, I think I'm addicted to the endorphins of seeing views come in and stuff like that. So it's like a self-fulfilling like goal in that you make a video and you see it get watched. For me, I'm happy to get 1,000 views or 2,000. You know, I'm not. It's not that big. And I think partly it's because I make very short videos. I think your advice about making longer videos might be a good way to go. Maybe I have to stitch 4 videos together.
Yeah, because if you're making say 5-minute videos, even if somebody watches like 80%, it's still only going to equate to like say 3.5 minutes or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which if you've got an 8-minute video, even if they watch say 60% of the time, you're still accruing like that watch time. And obviously watch time is key, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's hard. And I think short videos work really well if you are able to hold the attention of people. If you're making 4-minute videos and they're watching for 1.5 minutes, then I think that you probably would need to extend the video time just to try and help get some growth.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things people don't really talk about their stats very often. It's because it's all very private, isn't it?
Well, this is it. It is, yeah.
You share your view percentage and I'll share mine. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
We'll have a private conversation after the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you have any exciting videos coming up?
Well, I've got one about how expensive Games Workshop is. That might be quite an interesting one. Probably spark a few bits of content. But I'm building a giant orc at the moment. So I've started building it, and it's 3D printed because it's so big. But this is part of the body.
Oh wow!
It's going to be a
you like your
warlord
big
titan.
minis.
Yeah, it's going to be a warlord titan-sized orc. Its head's going to go on there. So that's because my intention is to go to an apocalypse game, but with orcs, and take. Yeah, I like just having like 3D printed giant orcs, and then just use some proxy rules. So that's a big one I'm going for, is to finish that. I don't know how I'm going to paint it. It's too big. It's too big. But yeah, and then do an apocalypse game. But I'm also going to do my own RTT. I'm going to do a Simply RTT.
Okay.
So there's the gaming centre at Belper in Derbyshire. They're going to host it, and then obviously I'm going to sell tickets, put like a £5 or something, just cheap, just to get people in, and then allow legends so people can bring whatever models they want. Yeah.
Well, I have legends at my Dominion War tournament.
That's good.
I'll admit, this year was the first year we had Forge World allowed, because previously I had no Forge World, just legends. But somebody wanted to bring a Seraptic Heavy Construct, and I said, yeah, okay. So we changed it to Forge World, and it was interesting because we had I think we had more fun lists because of the Forge World and legends being allowed, because people were bringing more silly lists, which is always good fun.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. I think the rules, I guess there must have been a time, maybe even before I joined, when then it was pay to win, so Forge World was always a bit more broken.
Forge World was terrible. The Transcendent Catan always rings a bell. It was, I can't remember what edition it was, maybe 6th, could have been 7th, around that time. And the Forge World Transcendent Catan was 850 points. There was no model for it,
right.
But it used the Apocalypse Flamer. Do you remember the Apocalypse
Flamer? No, for my time.
Okay, so, you know the Flamer template?
Yeah.
It was basically like a massive one of those.
Right.
A massive Flamer template.
So it just hit everything.
It hit everything, and it was horrible. I remember saying to my buddy, I said, I showed him the rules. I said, do you mind if I play it? He goes, yeah, no problem. We'll have some fun. So I played it. And after the game, he said, never play that again.
Yeah. I mean, I like, well, I guess we'll come on to this, but one of my sad things about 10th is how many models are getting put to legends and essentially not playable. Because most tournaments say no legends, and most people just don't like playing them, whereas half my collection just goes into the bin. You just can't play it. So I like any event where I can do it. Things like the Tyridid Dimacaron, Hierodule, all these cool big monsters. The rules aren't even that good now in Legends. So if you play them, it's not like you'd be broken.
No.
Because in 10th they gave them new rules and then they put them to Legends. But the rules they've tempered them down, so you should be able to play them, I think. But
yeah. I think the only one I've seen is Captain Badruck for the Orcs. He's pretty nasty as a Legends unit. But I think everyone else that I've seen, because I've seen quite a few Orc Legend units, obviously 6+ Diva and Dread Wargaming played them, and they're half decent, but they're nothing like over the top for the especially for the points that you're playing as well.
Yeah, I'm making a Chinook helicopter, warcopter, which is a legend orc helicopter. I'm gonna make because they don't exist now, so I'm making it out of I've got a little normal helicopter kit, and I'm gonna kit bash that and take it into January into my legends unit. But it can deep strike turn 1, so you just basically got this thing landing deep strike turn 1, and then Badrock's gonna be in there because he's a legend now, so he's gonna be in my army. But yeah, it's just I like the collection. So in at the end of 9th, when World Eaters were released, I really love that because I love the Primarchs. So I bought Angron and got them. But by the time I'd actually got an army, I played it once. Then 10th edition dropped, so I had one go. But I also bought myself a Brass Scorpion, and I used it once, and then it was Legends. So it's basically just got this expensive model. I just can't use it, and no one will buy it because it's It's Legends. It's a shame. Yeah, so my event, Simply RTT, it's going to be Legends allowed, encouraged.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a good way to go, I think. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I like your event you put on as well, and your videos you do, because you've got your own terrain, you sort of host it. Whereas for me, I've not got enough to run it myself. That's why I need a venue that'll do all the hard work, and then I just turn up.
Yeah, I have thought about like expanding it, maybe hiring a horde and having it a much bigger thing. But I'd have to charge, I think, for people to come, and B, it just wouldn't be what it's supposed to be. How it started out, it was just a celebration of being on YouTube for 10 years. Just got a few friends together, played some games, and sort of made it into a little mini tournament with a few little plastic trophies.
Yeah,
and although it has expanded, I've doubled the amount of numbers, but the only way I've done that is by having pairs, playing pairs.
Yeah.
Because I'm limited to the tables and stuff. But I think I've hit a sweet spot now. 16 people, 4 tables. It's just about right. Yeah, so I'm enjoying it. So yeah, I've got some plans for next year. I'm going to spice it up a little bit.
Excellent.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, hopefully I can make this one.
Yeah, it'd be good if you can. Okay, so I think we've talked about your channel now, so it's awesome to find out about that. So we've already delved into it, but we're going to have a chat about 10th edition now. I'm going to start off with a question, even though you haven't played all the editions, but what is your favourite edition out of the ones that you have played?
Yes, well, I have been giving this a lot of thought, actually. I think I might say 8th, and is that just because it's the first edition I played? But I was thinking, because I like the increased complexity of list building back then, with warlord traits and psychic powers and stuff. I also think Tyranids were much better back in 8th. I liked how fast they were, and I love Gene Stealers running across the board. So that was one of the things I enjoyed. But I also thought back then the rules meant a little bit more. So when you bought a codex, it lasted like most of the edition. Yeah. And then when you got a Psychic Awakening book come out, and it's quite exciting because you got some extra rules, whatever it might be. Was it Crusher Stampede came out, and something, and it's like some of them are broken, but it's kind of it was more meaningful. You got a book and rules, whereas now in 10th you buy a book and it's literally day one out of date, and so you give it a month every three months minimum. The rules are changing underneath, so it's actually quite hard to keep up. But for the fact that I'm obsessed and always doing videos, I'm sort of trying to keep up. But you just forget the what are the rules for throwing hand grenades?
That's right.
Because you have to look it up again. It's because it changes loads and stuff like that. So I think I like list building. Like I said, list building is probably my favourite thing. So I think having a bit more complexity was good. And then just that books were meaningful. Now you buy a codex just to get the code.
Yeah.
So I can use the.
However, the app is really good though, isn't it?
Yeah, I like the app. Yeah. I'll share a little tip with you, and I hope games you don't know, but you probably already know this. But if you sign up to pay for Warhammer Plus, and then you create an army for every army in your list, and then you can unsubscribe, and it keeps your army lists. So then you can just go in and edit them.
Right.
So I don't pay for Warhammer Plus, but when I did briefly, I basically created like 40 different list templates, and they're still there, so you can still have multiple.
That's what when I did sort of do that when the app was announced. Everybody said, if you create some lists on there, they'll stay on there when they take it off.
Yeah.
So I've got 5. Because in my head I thought, I only need 1 for each detachment.
Yeah, it's not enough, is it?
I wish I'd put more on there, but at least I've got 5 rather than 1. So, because obviously I don't pay for the app itself.
Yeah, I try to do 1 or 2 per faction, so I've got so I can just sort of jump in. But yeah, it's annoying that you have to. I'd prefer to pay a subscription and get the rules than buy a book just to get the thing, or buy a FOMO box just to get the new rules. So I guess it'll be January, the new Guard Codex will come out, which will be Krieg, which I love. So Krieg is one of my biggest forces at the moment. Got about 8,000 or 9,000 points of Krieg. But that Codex will come out in a box set. And that's very much a 10th edition thing. You'll get a codex in a box set, a bit of a FOMO thing, but then you can't use it because no one else has got the codex. So you have to wait months for the points, and then the book's out of date. So yeah. But I do like 10th though. I like the game. Yeah. It's fun. I mean,
how about Pariah Nexus over Leviathan? Do you think it was an improvement or?
Well, I think Leviathan was definitely an improvement over previous chapter approved, like just that turn by turn turning cards, and it made it more fun and different each turn. It wasn't I need to make sure I do cleanse or something. Yeah, it's like each one is like a tactical game. I think Pariah is good. I think reducing the amount of points means I find games are probably slower scoring than they used to be, and it's slightly less worthwhile sacrificing a unit when you get 3 points. Capture go in the center of the board and you get 3 points or something like that, and then you just lose a unit. So it's a lot of things finish at the end of your opponent's turn as well. So actually, it's if you have to build a list for the cards, and you have to actually think about stopping your opponent as well. But it's fun.
It's like
I'll play whatever gets put in front of me.
Sort of in a similar boat when they came out. When the cards first came out, I really enjoyed them because I thought this is great. It's not just about scoring objectives. There's always stuff to do. You've got to think about it. It's tacticals, should I shoot this or should I do the action? And I enjoyed that. But now I've got to the stage, probably just because it's, I've played many games like that, but now I've got to the stage, like in my previous game, where I had 10 Immortals, I had the Overlord in there, I was playing the Obeisance Flanks, I had my critical hits on a 5+ with Tesla, I moved up my Immortals, I had a juicy target to take out, and I had to do an action with them.
Yeah.
And you think... it sort of takes away from the fun of the game sometimes as well, because
you have to just not bother sometimes. Yeah. I was actually late getting the Pariah cards because it was the usual 10 a.m. rush at the independent retailers to buy them, and I was actually at a tournament at the time, so I had to in the middle of a game do it, and the site was struggling, and I thought I ordered them, and then 2 weeks later the Pariah Nexus objective markers arrived. And I'd ordered the wrong thing, and then obviously, of course, everything was out of stock for months. So then, I just had to sort of rely on good opponents to share half their set. I'll use the app, the Wargaming app, which sort of lets you.
Yeah. So that's the Goonhammer one, is it?
Yeah. It just lets you. It sort of gives you enough detail to play the secondaries, not all of it, but it's fine. Most people are pretty good about it, but I think again, I probably prefer Leviathan cards, but I enjoy the game. I've got no complaints.
I think I'm with you on that one. I prefer the Leviathan just slightly. I'm not a huge fan of the actions and how they work quite as much. And the fact that obviously they've taken away the OC0 not being able to score as well. I think it's just generally, it's probably maybe better for the competitive side of things. But I think, especially from Necrons' point of view, I think Necrons are slightly weaker in the Pariah Nexus than they probably were in Leviathan myself. But
there's a few good Necron lists, I guess. But
I of course have made my Overlord rules as well, which I was supposed to play Richard tomorrow actually, but he can't make it, so maybe next week. But we're going to try that, doing my custom, much easier to control during the game rules.
Cool.
Which hopefully will speed up our games as well, because they can go on a bit sometimes, especially when you're making a battle report.
Yeah, well, there's that, and I think also if it's a friendly game, it's there's no rush. Whereas if you're in an event and you've got 3 hours or something, it's it's very much more pressured. It's tiring though.
Absolutely. So what would you say is your favourite points level to play at? I know you mentioned Apocalypse, but taking that out of the side, like normal gaming, 1,000 points, 1,500?
Probably just 2,000.
2K,
Yeah, I think it's good because you get quite a lot of variety in the list. You can be silly. You can bring an 800-point Stomper or a 800-point Tower and it not completely ruin your list. I do play other smaller games. I had a good tournament recently, which was you bring a 500-point list and you do doubles, then 1,000 no, it's like 3 aside, and then 1,000-point list and a 2,000-point list. So it's like escalation type thing in one event, which was pretty fun. 1,000 points is fun, but if you bring something silly, you suddenly realize you have no models. So it's and I tend to I don't want to spam things. I don't like to do meta chasing lists. Like I said, I played Thousand Suns and it was very much meta, and I ended up winning a tournament. But that's not the kind of way I like to play. If I could bring 2 Magnuses, I would. That's pretty. So I think 2000 is good.
Yeah, I like 2000. I enjoy playing smaller games as well, especially if you're under the time pressure as well, of course.
Yeah. But most of the time I play is in tournaments because of not having a very good local scene, so I have to go somewhere, and then it's 3 games, 5 games, or whatever it is in a period. So it's always 2000. Yeah. It
reminds me actually. My first Dominion War tournament, we played Highlander rules.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, I've played that a few times.
Yeah, that is good. Because it just then, like you say, you can only take 1 unit of whatever the hotness is at the time. So it makes you think a bit more about the list, doesn't it? Yeah,
it also means you bring fun things that you would never normally bring.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like I said, my collections are always one of everything. That's how I start for a faction. So it's like that means you actually get to bring out models that would never normally get to see.
Yeah. Okay, so the burning question is, how long should an edition last, in your opinion?
Well, I think we still should be in 9th now. Because at the end of 9th, obviously the Guard and World Eaters hadn't been out very long. It felt pretty balanced. It was like they had the balanced data slate. It didn't feel like the rules were changing massively, but the balanced data slate meant that on a weekend you would get loads of different factions winning. It wasn't like really clear. And I felt it could have gone on like that. Let people have a year or more with their codex.
Yeah.
Not like a few months, because it'll be the same now where whoever's last will get 6 months with the codex, and then there'll be an edition change. So I'm actually of the opinion it should last longer. Because I just don't like buying all the codexes again. It's so expensive.
Well, that's one reason why I stopped playing a lot of my other armies as well. I just focused on Necrons. Part of that was because I wanted to channel focus a bit more, because it obviously having a niche within a niche is like quite good for getting people to return back to the channel. But there was also a big factor in that, I've got to buy another Eldar codex, another Space Wolves codex. And it soon adds up. And it's not just the money, it's the time that you need to learn those new rules and books and stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot, and they're going up in price all the time as well. So each edition they're going up, and each one comes out in a FOMO box, like I said. So
my first Necron codex was £10. £10. Now it's like £35 or so, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. Well, when I first got in the hobby, I started watching your channel because Necrons was my favourite. I found a PDF of the Necron Codex online, and I printed it off, and I thought, I'm saving myself some money. And I took it into the Games Workshop shop, and I got it, and he goes, you're not supposed to do that, really. You're supposed to actually buy them. And I was like, oh, really? And I was like, but I don't know if I decided this is my faction yet. I don't want to pay 35 quid. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough. No.
He was good about it. I didn't even think about the fact that it was flagrant copyright theft or whatever. Yeah, I was just excited to get something for cheap.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, it's been fantastic talking to you, Andy. Thanks very much for that.
So thanks very much for the time. It's flown by.
Excellent. So just once again, a little reminder, Andy's channel is linked in the description below, so make sure you head on over, give him a sub, and get him towards that next milestone, 11,000 subscribers.
Indeed, that's it. Excellent. Thank you very
much. In the meantime, here is a playlist of my other podcasts for you to enjoy.
Boom.
There you go. Stumbled at the last thing there, but there you go.
Call it again if you want.
No, it's all right. I think it just makes it a bit more fun and Because to be honest, I wanted to do these live. When I was doing my live streams, I thought it'd be really cool to have like guests on the show.
Yeah.
But it seemed too much hard work on OBS and stuff.
Oh, it's a lot of the tech bit. Yeah,
the tech bit.
I think OBS is quite complicated as well, really, to get it right.
Yeah. Plus, there's a few people I talk to. It's like, oh no, I don't want to go live. You know, I'm not ready to go live. So, doing it this way, people are able to come on because we've got the freedom to edit anything out. If you say something silly and you say, Nick, I don't want that in there, I'll say that's fine. I'll just edit it out. So yeah,
it makes I think live stream helps the editing cycle because you don't have to do any editing. That's why everyone does live streams and they fleece the subscriber market just because it's less editing, isn't it? It's easy.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Just go live, get some money.
Right, I'm going to stop recording now.